Hey there, Knicks Nation. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into all of the latest Knicks news. Our head coach, Tom Thibodeau, just secured his future with the team, and we've got all the details you need to know. Let's start with the big announcement. Tibbs has agreed to a 3-year contract extension that'll keep him prowling the sidelines at Madison Square Garden through the 2027-2028 season. Now, I know what you're thinking. Show me the money. While the exact figures haven't been disclosed, sources indicate that this deal is right in line with the current market for top-tier NBA coaches. We're talking north of $10 million annually, folks. Not too shabby for a guy who spends most of his time yelling "ice" at the top of his lungs, right? Now, some of you might be wondering if Tibbs' age was a factor in these negotiations. At 66 years young, he's currently the second oldest head coach in the league, trailing only the legendary Greg Popovich. If he makes it through this extension, he'll be hitting the big 7-0 while still calling the shots for the Knicks. In a league that's trending younger and younger, especially in the coaching ranks, that's pretty remarkable. But here's the thing. Age is just a number, and Tibbs proved last season that he's still got plenty left in the tank. Let's take a moment to appreciate what he accomplished with our squad. Despite a roster that was more banged up than a demolition derby car, Tibbs guided the Knicks to 50 wins and a second seed in the Eastern Conference. That's no small feat, my friends. Speaking of feats, let's talk stats for a second. With last season's success, Tibbs climbed to 5th on the Knicks' all-time wins list, sitting pretty at 175 victories. He's just 48 wins behind Pat Riley for 4th place and 73 behind his mentor Jeff Van Gundy for 3rd. Given the talented roster we've assembled, it's not out of the question that Tibbs could end up 2nd all-time in franchise history. That spot currently belongs to Joe Lapchick with 326 wins. But hey, records are made to be broken, right? Now, I know some of you are thinking, that's all well and good, but what has he done for us lately? Fair question. The truth is, with this extension comes a whole new level of expectation. The front office has made some big moves, bringing in players like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. These aren't just role players, folks. These are potential game changers, and they come with a hefty price tag of expectations. What does this mean for Tibbs? Simple. It's time to deliver. We're not just talking about making the playoffs anymore. The bar has been raised. Multiple playoff rounds are the new benchmark. If the team falters, regardless of injuries or other circumstances, there's a chance Tibbs might not see the end of this new contract. That's the nature of the beast in the NBA. You're only as good as your last season. But let's think positive for a second. What if Tibbs can do what only one other coach in Knicks history has done? What if he can follow in the footsteps of the legendary Red Holzman and bring a championship back to New York? If he pulls that off, we might be looking at more than just a contract extension. We could be talking about a future Hall of Famer. Of course, the road to a championship is never easy, and Tibbs will have his work cut out for him. This roster is arguably the most versatile group he's ever had to work with, certainly more so than any of his previous Knicks teams. That's both a blessing and a challenge. A multitude of good options means a plethora of hard decisions. Who starts? Who closes games? How do you manage minutes and keep everyone happy? These are the questions that'll keep Tibbs up at night. But if there's one thing we know about Tom Thibodeau, it's that he loves a challenge. He's a basketball lifer, a guy who eats, sleeps, and breathes the game. If anyone's up for the task of maximizing this roster's potential, it's him. And he won't be doing it alone. The Knicks have also announced that Mark Bryant will be joining the coaching staff as an assistant. Bryant comes to us most recently from the Detroit Pistons and is widely regarded as one of the top big man coaches in the NBA. He's also known for his incredible strength. Legend has it, he's one of the strongest men in the entire league. Between Tibbs' tactical mind and Bryant's expertise with the bigs, our coaching staff is looking pretty formidable. Are the Knicks done yet? Are the Knicks really done making moves this offseason? Grab your favorite Knicks gear and settle in because we've got a lot to unpack. First off, can you believe we're less than 3 months away from the new season? It feels like yesterday we were watching the playoffs, and now we're on the cusp of a fresh start. While the official schedule hasn't dropped yet, word on the street is we might be tipping off in Boston, watching the Celtics get their rings. Talk about motivation to start the season strong, right? Now, you might be thinking, 3 months? That's an eternity in NBA time. Surely we're done making moves. And normally you'd be right. Historically, mid-July to mid-October has been a quiet period for most NBA front offices. But folks, these aren't normal times. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. In 2022, we had the Donovan Mitchell saga, which dragged on for 2 months before he landed in Cleveland. Then last year, we were all glued to our phones waiting for news on Damian Lillard, a drama that lasted well into September. And who could forget the Drew Holiday sweepstakes that went down to the wire on Media Day? This year, all eyes are on the Warriors and Jazz, with Danny Ainge potentially holding the league hostage over Lauri Markkanen. But here's the million-dollar question. What does all this mean for our Knicks? Let's break down the key factors at play. 1. The Julius Randle situation. Circle August 3rd on your calendars, Knicks fans. That's the first day Julius Randle can sign an extension. But here's the kicker. According to Ian Begley's recent report, neither Randle nor the team seems to be in a rush to get this done. Even more intriguing? There are whispers of differing opinions within the front office about Randle's fit with the current roster. Some are concerned about how his impending free agency might impact his play, while others question his overall fit with the team's direction. Now let's be clear, Randle brings unique skills to the table. His ability to create gravity and command double teams is unmatched on this roster. But, and it's a big but, in crunch time against top teams, our best lineup might not include Julius. It's the classic dilemma of regular season value versus playoff optimization. 2. The gaping hole at backup center. For over 3 weeks now, we've been waiting for the Knicks to address their backup center situation. The silence is deafening, folks. With Mitchell Robinson's injury history, this isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Some fans have speculated about a potential small ball strategy, but let's be real, that's not Tom Thibodeau's style. And even if it was, Mitch's injury risk means we need a solid backup plan. 3. The looming minutes crunch. Here's where things get really interesting. If we do sign another big man, which we almost certainly will, we're looking at an even tighter minutes crunch than we already have. Something's gotta give, right? So, the million-dollar question. Would the Knicks actually consider trading Julius Randle? It's a complicated question, but let's break it down. Pros of keeping Randle. Unique skill set and offensive creation. Proven all-star caliber player. Familiarity with the system and teammates. Cons of keeping Randle. Potential fit issues in crunch time. Impending free agency might affect his play or team dynamics. Now, let's address the trade rumors. There's been some chatter about a potential Warriors deal, but let's be real. It's a long shot. A package centered around Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga is intriguing on paper, but it comes with its own set of risks. Wiggins has been struggling since some off-court issues last season, and he's got a hefty contract. Kuminga is an intriguing young talent, but he's still unproven. Plus, there's no guarantee the Warriors would even consider this deal without significant draft compensation, which the Knicks might not be willing to part with. So where does this leave us? The Knicks might have to look elsewhere if they want to shake things up. But here's the thing. They don't have to make a move. This roster, as currently constructed, is pretty darn good. We've got Jalen Brunson coming off a breakout year, Julius Randle coming back from injury and looking to take the next step, and exciting additions like Mikal Bridges, not to mention the defensive mastery of OG Anunoby and the versatility of Josh Hart. But the NBA is all about constant improvement. Standing pat while your competitors make moves is a risky strategy in the cutthroat Eastern Conference. So, what's the verdict? If I had to bet, I'd say the Knicks make at least one more move before the season starts. Whether it's a blockbuster Randle trade or simply addressing the backup center position, I don't see Leon Rose and company sitting on their hands for the next 3 months. Remember, this is a front office that's shown they're not afraid to make bold moves. They've been patient, methodical, and opportunistic. If the right deal presents itself, they'll pounce. The Knicks Crossroads, Randle, Cat, and the future of New York basketball. So should the Knicks stick with Julius Randle or make a bold move for someone like Karl Anthony Towns? Now, you might be thinking, hold up, where did Cat come from in all this? Well, my friends, that's exactly what makes this situation so fascinating. We can talk about Randle without mentioning Towns, and we can discuss Towns without bringing up Randle. And yet, these two conversations are completely intertwined. Let's start with the recent speculation from KFTV about a potential Karl Anthony Towns trade. This isn't just about adding a new player. It's about potentially reshaping our entire team identity. Picture this: Cat at center, OG Anunoby sliding to power forward, and Donte DiVincenzo back in the starting lineup. We're talking about potentially the best spacing in the league, folks. The Brunson-Towns pick and roll, it could be absolutely lethal. But here's where it gets complicated. To make this work financially, we'd likely have to say goodbye to both Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. That's not just a roster shakeup, that's a fundamental shift in how we play basketball. Let's break down the pros and cons. Pros of the Cat trade. 1. Elite spacing and offensive versatility. 2. Potentially the most devastating pick-and-roll duo in the league with Brunson and Towns. 3. DiVincenzo, back in a starting role, maximizing his talents. 4. A 5-out offense that could give opponents nightmares. Cons of the Cat trade. 1. Defensive concerns with both Brunson and Towns on the floor. 2. Loss of Randle's unique skill set and Robinson's elite rim protection. 3. Potential chemistry disruption in a locker room that's been clicking. 4. Financial implications that could limit future flexibility. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Is this even a realistic possibility? We've got no indication that the Timberwolves are looking to move Towns, especially after their recent playoff success. But in the NBA, as we all know, anything can happen. Let's talk finances for a second because this is crucial. The Knicks have been smart about maintaining flexibility under the second apron. Bringing in Towns' massive contract could complicate things, especially after Jalen Brunson took that team-friendly deal. We're talking about potentially hamstringing our future moves for years to come. But here's why this speculation matters. Even if it's not likely to happen right now, it highlights a crucial decision the Knicks face. Do we stick with what's working, or do we swing for the fences? With Randle and Robinson, we know what we're getting. It's not always pretty, but it's effective. We've got a proven system, a strong defense, and one of the best benches in the league. Remember that 12-2 run in January? That's what this current core is capable of. But with Towns, we're talking about a potentially explosive offense that could go toe-to-toe with the best in the East. It's high risk, high reward. We'd be following the Boston model. 6 elite players who can beat you on any given night. Here's another wrinkle to consider. Team owner James Dolan reportedly loves Julius Randle. How much does that factor into the decision-making process? Dolan has stayed out of basketball ops for a while now, but could this be the exception? Now, let's talk defense for a second. With Randle and Robinson, we know our base defense. It's been the backbone of the Tibbs era. But with Towns, we'd likely need to switch to a more aggressive style, as cat and drop coverage has historically been, let's just say, less than ideal. There are other questions to consider too. If we make this move, what happens to our bench depth? Do we have to give up someone like McBride in the deal? Where do we find a backup center? These are the details that can make or break a trade like this. Let's not forget about DiVincenzo either. He attempted and made more three-point field goals than anyone in basketball after the All-Star break last season. How would his role change in this new lineup? It's a delicate balance to strike. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, But what about the Knicks' recent moves? Didn't they just trade fan favorites like IQ and RJ? You're absolutely right. This front office has shown they're not afraid to make bold moves. They have a vision, and so far, it's paying off. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Randle versus Towns. It's about the identity of the New York Knicks moving forward. Do we double down on our current trajectory? Or do we roll the dice on a new direction? There's also the question of timing. As Ian Begley reported, neither Randle nor the team seems to be in a rush to get an extension done. Are they waiting to see how things play out? Or are they keeping their options open for a potential big move? Remember, the NBA landscape can change in an instant. While a Towns trade might seem unlikely now, who knows what the situation could be at the trade deadline? The Knicks are in a position of strength, and that gives them options. So, Knicks fans, I want to hear from you. Should we stick with Randle and our current core, believing that continuity and incremental improvement is the path forward? Or should we make a big swing for someone like Cat, potentially sacrificing some of our depth and defensive identity for offensive firepower? And are you excited about the Tibbs extension? Do you think he is the right man to lead us to the promised land? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. This is what makes being a fan so exciting. We get to debate and dream about the future of our team. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. We'll be here all off-season, breaking down every rumor, trade possibility, and what-if scenario for our Knicks. Remember, whether we're running it back or shaking things up further, we're all in this together. Through thick and thin, we bleed orange and blue. Go Knicks!